If money is being taken from the working class to provide assistance program for those in poverty, shouldn't those recipients be law-abiding citizens? Welfare policies are in constant debate in our nations, and one of the biggest controversies regarding welfare is whether or not welfare recipients should be drug tested. So what exactly is welfare? U.S. welfare began in the 1930s during the Great Depression, when there was a major crisis epidemic going on where many families were in need and needed public assistance to kind of get by. So these programs include things such as Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, unemployment relief, food stamps, and other public assistance programs. Who is benefiting from these programs? Well, every public assistance program has different qualifications for an individual or family to receive benefits. But these programs have been implemented to kind of act as a safety net to those in poverty that may or may not be without a job. So how exactly are these programs funded? The welfare programs are actually funded through tax dollars that are taken from the working class. States typically mandate what programs they will fund. It's kind of a lump sum sent from federal funds located to state funds, where then they can choose how they use those. So we live in a society that kind of struggles with this issue of fairness and human rights in regards to drug testing welfare recipients. But how exactly is drug testing recipients viewed as unfair? Drug testing is a requirement for many individuals, including those within the working class. It's not a bias or misconception that those on welfare are doing drugs. In fact, drug testing does not have to implicate that suspicion whatsoever, but rather be a means to ensure that recipients are abiding by the drug-free code of conduct that these policies and assistance programs have in place, just as members of the working class, students, and athletes have to do when they're a part of a corporation that requires them to withhold the same drug-free standard. With the growing number of long-term welfare recipients within our society, the programs that were intended to provide just temporary assistance have kind of become a long-standing dependency for some recipients, and as a result, more of the working class's tax dollars are being spent on welfare programs rather than other programs that benefit more of society as a whole rather than just one social class. So how exactly can we cut this funding that's being used for welfare programs while still managing to help those in need? I believe the answer to that is drug testing welfare recipients. Since it's actually a requirement of a recipient to be drug-free, and only 7 states drug testing welfare recipients, we really have no indication whether or not these recipients are sort of upholding their part of the deal. As a member of the working class, I, for one, am subject to drug tests at any point in time if my boss chooses to do so, and there are a plethora of jobs that even require an individual to pass a drug test before the hiring process may begin. Drug testing is a requirement in many areas of expertise, including high school sports all the way up to recreational or pro sports teams. And if a business or corporation has the authority to drug test its employees or players or applicants, then shouldn't the same be said for welfare assistance programs? A recipient must be willing to act in accordance to the program's requirements in order to receive its benefits. By drug testing welfare recipients, we will be weeding out the individuals breaking the law and policies of the programs they are receiving these benefits from. And by decreasing the number of welfare recipients, those tax dollars will be relocated rather than the government having to increase taxes on the working class. If a member of society is seeking governmental aid to help support themselves and their families, shouldn't it just be mandated that they require that they abide by state laws? Regardless, I think that a recipient of these programs should be a law-abiding citizen, because when you're seeking out a helping hand, you must be willing to abide by the laws and policies implemented by the program that you are receiving this assistance from. So another thing is supporting drug testing of welfare actually promotes a better well-being for society and the individual. Drug testing welfare recipients may actually deter drug use and abuse. If an individual knows that they must pass a drug test in order to receive the benefits that they have been receiving to help their family and themselves put food on the table, then they're more likely to stay away from that drug use. And aside from that, a drug user may also see this drug testing as more of a motivation for the individual to seek out a job rather than relying on a monthly welfare benefit check. It's kind of like the more hoops they have to jump through to receive a monthly governmental assistance check may drive them to actually work more diligently and put those efforts towards getting a job rather than having to pass a drug screening. So really, drug testing welfare recipients is just a way for us to relocate money into more crucial places rather than raising taxes for the working class. We live in a society that really recognizes drug testing as a necessary action in multiple different cases, such as jobs, schools, and sports teams. So why is it such a controversy to drug test welfare recipients? I personally believe that drug testing promotes a better well-being and may even provide an individual with more of an incentive to go out and search for a job rather than relying on these programs and increasing the dependency that has been recently found in America. Thank you.